What up, man? Peace. Once again, coming to you live and just outside of the University of North Carolina Charlotte campus. We welcome you back to the dopest podcast ever to be spawned from the Queen City herself. We are the Queen City Psychopaths, and welcome to the QCP podcast, Ep.7 on February 1st, 2020. Man, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's up?
It is I again, your man, the leader, the Lord with the sword, Sir John Legion. Don't hate. And we got all four of the psychos in today. Let's go around and reintroduce to some and introduce to others. Got my man
E-Man over here, what's up?
And also
we got Aidan making a return.
We got Jesse, the one and only.
J-May in the building. That's right. And today, for episode 7, we have our first guest. We decided to do something a little bit different. I'm pretty sure in previous episodes we let you guys know that we had plans on bringing someone on, just anybody, another student, whatever. We were planning on doing guest episodes in the future, and this will be the first one. So let's introduce our guest today, sir. Please introduce yourself.
Joel Vincent, other known as UNCC's resident badass.
Okay.
Local legend. Also, I have a sword too. I just don't pull it out as much.
He was thinking about that ever since the intros.
Yeah, he was planning that.
He was planning that out.
He was in the car. He was like, "What should I say?"
Right. So yes, Joel, like the rest of us, is a UNCC student. Your major, sir. Don't forget your field of study.
Yes, so I am a writing intensive directing major. So I focus on directing, creative writing, and dramaturgical work. In general, that's just what I'm doing for a degree. In life, I just consider myself an all-around creator.
Okay.
Wow, that's dope.
Respect.
All right, nice. And also, if you haven't been keeping up, if you haven't checked out the cast list for the upcoming production that the UNCC Charlotte Theater Department is putting on, that will be Far Away, which opening night is February 13th. Joel is working as the
assistant director, protege,
and we just be fucking it up in rehearsal, don't we?
Every day.
We do it. All right. Well, I mean, I really, to be honest, I really want to talk to you for the most part. I mean,
yeah, man, that's cool, man.
I mean, no, but the other kid's cool though. We get along with everybody. We're having a good time. These next 2 weeks though are going to be pretty hellacious.
Yeah.
So I'm told. So, but hey. I said you do what you got to do. So we're just gonna push forward. But today's episode we are going to dive into the creative process with Joel, who, as stated, he's a writer, a filmmaker, and a couple of us in the QCP are writers in their own right. Definitely, I know Aidan that likes to do some writing. Jesse, I think you told me
a little bit,
and of course E-Man, who was involved in 24/7 last semester. Yeah. And had the best wrote the best script for a story. Let's all be look. Jesse can attest to it.
He did
We got the best reaction, fellas. Right there.
I still haven't read it.
Haven't read it.
You never sent it to me.
I need to send it to you. So
you you need to make some copies because I lost mine. But get the copy.
It's on a PDF type thing. Okay. Cool.
So the topic question for the day, and like I said, I'm out of the 5 of us, I have the least experience and the least know-how when it comes to writing. I just I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just my ADHD, that gets in the way. But it's kind of hard for me. It's kind of hard for me to like sit still and write some shit out. So I'm basically just gonna let you guys, run the conversation. But we do plan on this conversation flowing through Joel. And the topic question is: when you are writing a script / story, what inspires you as a writer? What gets your creative juices flowing? And let me start off with a preset question, Joel. Like, when exactly did you first start writing?
I first started writing probably in about. Well, I've always been a writer.
Okay.
I've always, I don't think that's something that you really start. I guess it's really when did I start like screenwriting or script writing
or like taking it seriously?
Yeah. Like I've done stand up for a while. I first started writing with poetry. A lot of writers usually do, like poetry slam, stuff like that. I'd say I wrote my first real piece, which is actually like a kid's piece, probably in about 2013, 14.
Mm.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's been a process, but I don't really know, to be honest with you. Just so I guess I could catch like the flow of this.
Yeah.
What are your processes like?
Um,
Let's end with me. Let's
Yeah.
end with me.
Oh, you want it? Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
let's end with me.
I can say for myself, poetry is probably not one of my strong suits. I mean, I can get a rhyme scheme together or something like that. Make something that has like a flow to it. It is poem-like, but I wouldn't really say I could really write a poem, like a good poem, in my opinion. For me, my writing process normally starts with like an idea or a scenario that I think would be kind of like interesting to me.
Yeah,
like
you told me yesterday some great ideas you had.
Yeah,
They was great.
what I started doing after I did write the thing for 24/7, I started just having a little page in my notebook where I write down play ideas or just skit ideas that I think would be very interesting for me to have in a scenario that, if I bring up, if I want to start writing something, I'd be like, okay, these are good starter points to go from.
Mhm.
I also put down like certain lines I think would be funny for it. Like I had one that was like, well, fuck you too, Bill. Didn't have anything to do with anything.
It's just something you find
Something
funny
I
that
find
you
that
want
funny that I
yeah.
could put it later on somewhere in there. So I have like, I think I had one that was like, I'm not gonna say the one that I know I'm gonna probably do, but I had one that's like a storyteller telling like a short story, and he's like telling a story like really messed up. The person's like, "What? This really happened?" Like it's like, this, I don't believe this, and I'm like, "Yes, it really did." And Mark Hamill was there too, like just
Right.
weird stuff like that. So my creativity normally comes from like an idea, just something I think would be interesting to start from, So I can say that's my jump off point when I start writing.
For me personally, it's like everything, like I'm like Joel in a way to where it's like I don't necessarily classify myself as one thing. Like I don't classify myself as like a writer or like an actor or something. Like I'm just an artistic creator in my own right because I play music. I'm a performer.
Just an
I do
artist.
a lot of like
Artist.
scenic design,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So for me personally, I read a lot. Not necessarily so much since I've been in college, I've been a lot more busy, but like I've read easily like over like a couple hundred books in my life. I just love reading, regardless if they're
Same.
12 pages, 500, whatever they may
Mhm.
be. But so what I do is I'm currently working on two different books at once. One of them I'm co-writing with a friend of mine from high school, but the other one is like my own project. But everything I do, I put it in a Google Doc. So therefore, I can easily like share it with people. They can go back and like make comments, all that kind of stuff. Because I also have a film group, which we've been kind of on a hiatus because we're all like different schools. Which I will actually I'll leave the link to our channel in the description if you guys want to go watch the videos. But we like for that, like I'll put my script up and we'll put the scripts in there and we'll like share with each other. But for me, it's like we have like I like to keep a little notepad, kind of like how E-Man was talking about, and I just want to get everything set up first. Like I won't write story, I won't write lines or anything. I'm gonna get the complete like worldview set up, all the like circumstances, and have all the basis of what I need first before I start doing anything. Because if I start the story, I'm gonna be like, well, I have this and I'm gonna like this, so how can I change stuff to fit the story I've got? And it's like, no, I'd much rather have all the basics and all the information I need to create everything and then go from there. Because it's so much easier to come back and then switch the basics of what you want, because you already have like a full world view to go back and change small parts to be able to progress your story, rather than changing your world to fit the story that you've kind of created. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like to kind of go back, and what I'll do, I also keep like a dream journal as well. So like when I wake up, whatever I can remember of my dream, I'll write it down, regardless of how specific or non-specific it is. Because anything like those, like I've pulled ideas from that, or any sort of influence I can find, I put it in somewhere. And I have, since I do all my writing on a computer, all my official stuff I keep in black text, and all the things that I have as an idea is in a different color. So if it's in a different color, it's subject to change. But if it's in black, I know for a fact that's what I'm gonna keep it as.
Okay.
So it's just like I like to do things in layers.
That's very detailed.
So it takes me a long time to do stuff.
I feel you. Jay May?
I haven't written a lot.
Same.
But what I can say off of my research, as far as writing, I do know it takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of, because it is a craft. So it takes a lot of. I was looking at this. I think his name is John Truby or John Turby. I looked him up early before we did this podcast. But one thing he said was that writing is like a lifetime commitment, which it really is, because um, that's basically that's basically what you're doing. You have to commit yourself to that craft. And I think for me, one thing that if I do start writing, I have to realize what comes with that. There might be days where I might have to be alone. There might be days where I might have to just be by myself and craft out, okay, what do I want? What do I want in this story? What do I want in that story? So it does take, um, it does take, um, time to realize, like, also what comes with that, like the rejection that comes with that as well. So it's kind of like linked into um acting, kind of like what to expect, like the rejection. That there is commitment that comes with that, as far as um y'all get what I'm saying. So I know that, and I know I can't be afraid to fail, but I know for me, um, I am kind of like E-Man, where I have been trying to like write out like some comedy skits and stuff. I mean, of course, me personally, I have been afraid to fail, so I haven't put them out anything. I might just throw them in the trash or whatever, because but I mean, that's where I kind of see myself doing in the future, kind of. So yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, and I'm gonna start with Joel. So, did you? Huh?
He didn't get finished. He didn't get.
Yeah,
to
no,
finish
I'll do it and then jump.
Oh, he didn't. He didn't
No,
finish?
go ahead. Ask your question. I'll do it and then jump into the process.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna. So, just about. Is it safe to say that everybody in this room, well, like we all took English from K through 12, right?
Yeah.
Or English, or because that's basically the writing class essentially.
Yeah.
So Joe, let me ask you: how much does what you see on TV or movies like influence how you? And I mean, this is a question I want everybody to answer this, but or does it have any influence at all? Because you told me that you are a film. Like what's the word? I don't want to say film snob.
Film buff.
Film buff. There you go. Yeah, film buff. Sorry, thank you. It slipped my mind. So yeah.
Film
So
snob.
I don't know. Wait, no. I think that's the name of a YouTube channel.
That's so mean,
No,
man.
no. You know what happened?
So
No.
disgusting that
No.
you ever called me a snob.
No, that's the name of a YouTuber. No, he calls himself. I think he calls himself Cinema Snob. Sorry, that for some reason that popped into my head. But yeah, so
Tell us how you really feel, Tyler.
yeah. Well, no, that's just his name.
Stick
That's
your
just his
nose
name.
up
But
to this.
yeah. So are there any like movies or TV shows or just genres in particular? Because I mean, now I know Aidan, you said that you didn't grow up watching a lot of TV as a kid, right?
No.
Okay. Well, the four of us did.
Yeah.
And I'm not to leave you out, but I know I did. I watched a crap ton of TV, and if I were to like take on the task of writing a script or a story, like whether it be short or long, more than likely my mind would go back to something that I saw on like a television show or an episode that I saw or a movie I saw, as to sort of like springboard me into whatever I was gonna write. Do you do that?
First, I'm gonna take a step back and talk about the process.
Okay.
For me, writing is something that I feel you are like. It's hard to become a writer. That's when that thing with the whole dedication comes into play, because it's not in your being, so you have to sort of force it out by applying certain hours a day to it every day, every day, every day. As far as me, when it comes to creating, and it does play back into sort of like your question, I don't watch a lot of television and movies anymore, because, like you said, it does influence you, and I feel like that takes away from originality.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
As far as my process is sort of similar to you guys, except I don't sort of write it out detailed and underline. It's just pretty much an audio recording of the status of the world or the idea of what I want it to be. Because in theory, when it comes to like playwriting and screenwriting, they say that there's two types of writers. There's architects and there's farmers, people who structure everything. It has to be super laid out. Scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. They follow the exact sort of like call of action to heroes that all sort of movie follows. And then there's the farmer who sort of plants the seed and allows the creative process to sort of form the masterpiece for him. I believe that as I don't really classify myself as just a writer. I believe as a creator, it requires both of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So during the creative process, which is the very beginning, I don't really like to structure things out that much. I'll start getting into that later on, like once I figure out like what I want the idea to be and things of that sort. Now, as far as where I get my creativity from and my ideas from, I am a person who writes mostly purely on life events that's happened to me. Pretty much not like
personal
things,
experience.
yeah, not like things.
Well, most
that,
writers do, don't they? I mean, let's be honest.
yeah,
Kinda...
but that's the difference between like being like sort of basic with it and creative with it, because you can take something like, I'll share an idea with you right now, but I'll say this point first. You can take something that happened to you in your life and you can sort of detail it out, or you can take something that happened to you in your life and your whole creative mind turns it into this whole ambiguous world that's nothing like the reality that we live in.
It's just based on that idea,
but it's still sort of like connected to that. So my father is an immigrant. He's a Haitian man.
Yeah.
So growing up with him, I had to deal with people sort of second judging me, teachers, whatever, because when he comes to class or when he comes to parent teacher conference, he has an accent and they can't understand. Okay, so off of that, I built a play called Kill the Maid, which pretty much is like these people just wake up out of the darkness and they're in like this casino type area, and they have no way to get out, but not everyone is from the same time period. So there's a caveman, there's a maid, there's a father and his son, there's two hot chicks, you know what I'm saying? And people start dying randomly and they're like, what's going on, we can't understand. So initially everyone sort of tries to blame the people who they can't understand, which is the people who don't speak the common language, which would be the maid and the caveman like figure. But then they're like, oh, the caveman like figure is just amazed that he's in this new world that he knows nothing about. Like, it's different from his fucking ice age world. So it's like, he's like, what is this cup or whatever? So they're not thinking that he's the killer. And then this ambiguous figure comes out of nowhere claiming to be a demon hunter, and that they're trapped in like a trickster's demon spell and he's trying to free them. In reality, he's the man causing this and they're living in their own personal hell. But that whole idea was based off the fact that my father didn't speak English when he came here. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like that's different from like structuring it out and like telling the exact events that happen to you instead of allowing something to influence you, and then this whole world sort of like flowers because of it. But
probably took me a week to come up with something like that, but that's I'm not even all right. Instantly,
honestly,
hey,
yeah.
Like he says, is who he is. So
yeah, right. Hey,
you know,
hey.
I can say for myself, I do say that my TV influences me. It's not like I don't think it's a bad thing that it does.
Not a bad. Not bad.
What I think about when I do think that the TV does influence me a little bit is how I think I need to work. I need to work harder for my writing because I know how good their writing is. Like, like honestly,
I mean, not to cut you.
I
said not to cut you off, but George Lucas. Let's be honest. The entire concept of Star Wars, he pretty much got from the Seven Samurai, a movie that came out in like the 50s. I think it was Akira Kurosawa, I think, was the director. But that movie was like a big hit though. But that was basically, I don't want to say he stole the. I mean, you got to. That was his inspiration. Is basically what I'm saying. So, so I don't think like TV and film is 100% like a bad thing to use as like a template.
No,
for
I think
a story.
My bad. Just to jump in real quick,
Yeah.
like he's saying, it's not a bad thing. But if that didn't happen and that was his 100% idea, how much more powerful would that be to you? Because even right now, you're like, he's a genius. but he kind of took the idea from Semper.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody
think-
gets something from somebody.
yeah, of
essentially,
course,
you know?
The way
of course.
I take it from them, I think I take it as more like the way they structure their shows, and I think about like maybe like, okay, this works, this doesn't work. I know what people like to grasp onto. I know what people don't like to grasp onto. This kind of comedy falls short. Like Amy Schumer, we all know she's not the best comedian, and we all know that people are not watching her.
Far from it.
No, people are not
any
watching
Amy
it.
Schumer
So
fans?
I'm not going to.
I heard Trainwreck was pretty good.
I saw Trainwreck. It wasn't okay. It was an okay film. It wasn't. I didn't think it was bad. It was okay film.
No,
It was an
I
okay
think about it like as her comedy goes, that's not the way you want to make your comedy structured because I know I'm not gonna laugh at it, so I'm not trying to make other people laugh with her kind of comedy.
Her roast was pretty good.
What I think of,
she's a joke stealer though, but I mean,
yeah. When I think of like where I take my inspiration from is a lot of comedy shows. I do write comedy. I do write for things people to make them laugh because I like to make people feel good and happy with their what they're watching. So from what I can say is like I guess when I was writing for 24/7, my main inspiration was that 70s show.
That's my
They're
favorite show.
It's so fucking good.
I didn't know that shit.
It's so
Tell
good.
me that.
Everyone on like Tinder and shit like that, they'll be like, "Oh, I just want to be Jim and Pam." I'll be like, "Man, fuck that. I'm looking for Donna, bro."
Donna and Eric, bro.
It's my
Who was it that
Donna.
showed me a picture of Donna? That's like
I showed
you
you
did.
her.
Yeah, okay. Have you seen her recently?
Good.
Not even
She's
about,
still
not even
bad,
about
though.
the looks, bro. I'm talking about like the whole emotional connection, the whole everything. This man went away, abandoned her to Africa.
Yeah, she still was a ride or die.
Bro.
Ride or die, bro.
Fuck
Donna
Pam,
was real.
bro.
Fuck
Pam wouldn't
Pam.
even let this man start his own company. Fuck Pam. Where's my Donna, bro?
Yo, no, but like at that when I was writing that, I was thinking about their kind of comedy, like how it's very quick paced. They're making a joke every single line. There's always some kind of like double entendre to what they're saying, and I was like, that's so clever. That's so well written that I would like to structure myself around that kind of thing. Like if I'm making a comedy, I want you to be able to say like, I know it's a serious line, but there's also an undertone meaning of I can laugh at that. All the shows I normally watch that are comedy influence, they're like that quick, fast paced humor that you don't even catch, and I'm like, that's good. That's really good because if I don't even catch it, and then I got to turn it back a little bit to be like, that's a good joke. That's when I know I've structured my thing in a good way. So I know that when I let people like read what I was writing and they were laughing at every single line, I was like, okay, I'm doing a good job. I know where I'm going. I know where I need to keep going. And I know I'm making a joke and it's continuing the story, but still keeping the flow kind of light, you know? So
I was a King of Queens guy. I don't know if y'all remember that
Oh,
show.
that was a
King
good
of
show.
Queens. Yeah, that was my
Pretty good.
show. That was my show.
yeah, so I can say TV influences me in that way of how they structure their shows. I let that figure out how I'm going to structure what I write to make sure it flows just like that. Because I know that's what people are attracted to and what people will like, you know, in that aspect. Anyway.
I like to take things that like I've enjoyed personally and then twist it to make it as original as possible. Like
That's right.
I mentioned
I think that's kind of how I think sometimes. Anyway, if I was gonna write, okay.
So I mentioned earlier I was working on 2 books. The one I'm working on by myself. The premise of the book is before I continue, have any of you guys played Rise, Son of Rome?
Yes.
So you remember the Damocles character?
I don't remember the game that well. I
Okay.
just remember it was a good game.
Yeah,
okay. So
It's called Rise of Rome or just
Rise,
Rome?
Rise, Son of
Rome.
Okay,
yeah. So
it's like shield based, right? A little bit.
Kind of,
like
yeah.
like gladiatorial kind of thing.
Well, it was Rome.
Yeah.
That's okay. So that's I know Rome. I played that before.
The character is like a centurion, whatever.
Okay.
But so the Damocles character in the game it tells the story in the game to where they had marched out into battle, and then there was I think 7 other centurions with him that in the face of defeat they all abandoned him and he died. Right? But he's the only one who had enough courage to stand and fight. And so it was said that his spirit would come back and haunt Rome and would kill all the centurions that abandoned him. Yeah. Spirit comes back and inhibits the main character, and then you end up killing off those centurions, which you're literally telling. So your character, I can't remember his name, is literally telling his story to one of the centurions, which I believe is the last one that's alive, and the guy realized that he's Damocles and he kills him, right? Well, that's half of it, but the actual story of Damocles, which may not be 100% accurate, but he wanted to become the emperor, and he was so envious of what the emperor was doing, so the emperor was like, okay, fine, You have the throne for a day. You can do what you want. You're the emperor for a day. But the catch is right above the throne is a razor-sharp sword hanging on a super frayed thread that could snap at any time. And when it fell, it would impale him and kill him, right? And after a while, he couldn't do it anymore because of the constant stress of the
threat of it.
Yeah, the constant fear of that falling and killing him. And so then the emperor was kind of like, so you see, like, it's not as good as you might think, whatever. So I'm mixing those two ideas together to where I'm using Damocles as the character from the actual myth, to where he actually stayed because he was hungry for so much power that he disregarded the sword that fell and killed him. And so then the spirit that's coming back is his anger, which I haven't figured out this idea, like finalize what exactly how to explain his anger, but then it comes back and like inhibits the main character of the book.
Okay,
so that's basically what I'm doing.
Like
So
a
it's like
prequel type thing, kind of like that.
Yeah,
so it's like filling in that
taking
gap of what we're missing in the story.
Yeah,
Okay.
So it's kind of like I'm taking stuff that I've personally enjoyed and then taking the real life influences together to make it something completely original.
Yeah.
But it's still influenced by other things. You know what I mean? Like Star Wars, for example.
Yeah, so
it was completely influenced by something, the basic story, but the world of Star Wars itself is original.
Right. So
Yeah.
So you'd say a fan of Greek mythology or ancient, things like
Just
that?
mythology in general.
Just mythology in general?
Norse is my favorite mythology.
Norse, okay.
Is your favorite? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Honestly, I can say I'm a Greek fan, but I am dabbling into Egyptian.
I lean more towards Egyptian mythology, a little bit of Greek, but we're reading Shakespeare though, so that's and look, that's all comic books are based off of. All these characters, they're just allegories from Greek and Egyptian mythology. That's really all they are.
Shazam's fucking letters mean Greek mythology.
I know, right. And look,
that.
we are. Look, Superman is Moses. I mean, look,
Really?
yeah.
What?
No. I mean, his story. No, his story is basically it's Moses from the Bible.
Very, very, very loosely based off of Moses.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all didn't know that?
Okay.
I definitely did.
I can see that.
I didn't know that shit.
It is.
No, never would have thought that.
Wonder Woman is kind of self-explanatory. Her name is Diana, who can also be, I believe, she's an allegory for Artemis, goddess of the hunt. I think.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that her Roman name?
Diana, yes.
Diana. Yes.
That's the moon goddess. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. She's pagan.
Goddess of the hunt, that kind of thing.
And okay, and I can go on down the line, but Joel, have you been in a writer's room before?
I haven't been in a writer's room. I've only had one opportunity to sort of collaborate with other writers, and as I'm sure you know, students bail on stuff all the time.
Yeah,
you know
that's true. Yeah.
So after a while, it's just like enjoy myself.
It's just like those two guys that are
like,
dang, I got homework.
Yeah,
bro, fuck you, dude. I told you about this months ago.
Right.
I'm not the type of guy or the type of artist to sort of like grab everything that comes my way. Well, I will grab everything that comes my way, but I won't selfishly hold it.
Right.
Like there was an opportunity to write and direct 2 productions for our Title IX office, which is pretty much about like anti-rape and stuff like that.
Right.
So I wrote a piece. This was during the summer. I wrote a piece, and I could have wrote both pieces, but I tried to gather some people, two other writers, or that's what they told me, and we were going to work on the second piece. And time dwindled, and anyway, I wrote both pieces.
Right. Okay.
I directed both pieces. I didn't film it because they wouldn't let me, but I mean, it's out there now. So
yeah, I mean, I've seen them. So like I've seen them.
Oh, you've seen? Yeah, have you seen them? Yeah, I mean,
the Title IX.
Wait, were they in?
Did
they show us? Did they show us those at SOAR?
Both of them are yours?
What are both of those?
No,
I don't
they
know.
show the ones they showed
There's
us at
some on the
SOAR.
canvas I can watch like right now.
Yeah,
those are yours.
Jen and Jalen.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Ken,
I've seen
is that the one
those.
with Drew?
Oh, so you wrote that?
Yeah, but I'll say
They were
this.
good.
I'll say this.
Okay.
I'll say this though. When it comes to writing, at least for me, being sort of like
Pigeonholed.
Not even pigeonholed, yes, but not even just pigeonholed, but being directed to write something specifically.
I was about to ask you that. That was my next question.
You feel like you're limited.
That was my next question.
Exactly. Like they're like, oh, write it about this topic. That sucks because now I'm like, it's not my process. It's not. I'm not basing this off what happened to me or creatively or da 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 da. Jen and Jalen was fire. That was the one I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
The party one could have been better. Well, we got a lot of students on this, so the party one could have been better. I would have made some different choices, but I don't know. It was a great opportunity overall. Right. And I just wish I could have shared. I tried to share it with someone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like I'm not the one who's gonna hold every opportunity to myself. And it happened because sort of like you, I wrote a 24/7 piece that everyone just went fucking nuts for. Too.
Yeah.
So they were just like, "Hey, we want to da 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 da."
You still got a copy of it?
Yeah, I got a copy of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we're trying to get J May to do 24/7.
I'm doing it this year.
Okay. All right. This needs to be.
I'm gonna write one more time. Yeah. I have a really good idea that I fucking think that.
But this semester is gonna be his coming out party.
I'll tell y'all off the podcast what the idea is. I told J May he fucking loved it too because when I had put in my idea because I was writing in my little play ideas.
If rugby doesn't get in the way, I'll be doing it.
Definitely need to. So. I need either both of y'all to do it or just one of y'all to do it because I can see.
If me and Jesse act in your piece,
okay.
Whichever one do that role for me, y'all gotta do it perfectly.
Whatever you want, even.
Yeah, because you didn't. Because you weren't there for the show, but
I couldn't.
That's right.
Tyler fucking murdered it.
Well, I mean, we all did. No,
put the roof on fire.
No, I mean, I did his piece.
He's like a natural actor, though. Like,
shit! Y'all go. All right.
Every single time I've seen him audition or like do like a soliloquy, I tell him this all the time. It just comes natural.
Here's the thing.
He's been doing it for years.
They gave this man my script like the beginning of the day, like 8 a.m. or something like that, real early in the day. My man knew it.
I was late too. I walked in.
Knew it after his lunch break. Knew the whole entire script verbatim. Didn't have to tip her at all. Everyone else holding their.
Hey, correct me. Yeah, everybody. I was about to say the same. Everybody else was like holding
literally.
Right. The only one.
Only
I
one
tossed
that didn't
that
have
shit.
his.
Yeah, I tossed that.
Where?
No, I mean, I took it. I mean, I took it with me to lunch.
Yeah,
like me and Reno, we both took our scripts with us to lunch, and like so we're there with the people who were in other groups, right? They were paired up in other groups, and they're all eating and talking or whatever. I mean, we were eating too. But we had our scripts out. We were going through our shit. So when we got back, it was like, I mean, she was still using hers for a couple lines, but
it was also her first time acting.
Yeah, it was right, and she did a great job. She did real easy to work with.
Honestly, like, dude, when I tell you all the people we've had, the only
shout outs to her.
I can say that that I sat there and was like, this is really good, like dramatically.
Yeah.
Was the guy James? He Glasses. He played in Do you see Everybody? He played in Everybody.
I've seen Everybody.
Yeah, he has I think he's like ginger kind of hair. I think.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, beard.
Yeah, beard. Yeah.
He was also in.
He was also in the 24/7. Yeah, he wrote one. It was basically it was a woman talking to her personification of her depression. It was so good.
You know what? I'm trying to think if he wrote during my season too. I think he did something like that too, where it was somebody in an interview.
Ooh.
Like a job or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the same. It was just two actor base talking to each other.
Yeah.
Did he use the same actor?
He used like two actors talking.
Actors?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It was the little girl was talking to her personification of her depression, and it was so well made.
That's good, man. That's growth. You know what I'm saying? That's
really
all you can ask for as an artist is growth.
Like he blew it out of the water too. Like his actors did a great job, and then I had Tyler on the W for mine. I was like, "This is great. I love this one."
You remember? I think it was after we rehearsed it in the Black Box, or no, right before we did our first rehearsal. I came up. I walked up to you. I didn't even know you were going to be in there. I came in there and you were sweating bullets.
Yeah,
you were so damn nervous that I was like, I came over there and I was like, "Yo, it's cool, man. Don't worry about it. I got Tyler you."
To be the one to do it.
I was like, "Yeah, I got you, man."
There was no other person.
No, seriously. I mean, he was. I could tell he was nervous, but I was like, "Look, we had rehearsed. I knew my lines, and when we and we were the last ones to go on, so we had a lot more time to prep. Me and Rena, but I was like, we were real confident about it, and I just wanted to reassure him, and everything turned out great.
It turned out awesome.
Yeah, what were you gonna say?
The hardest part for me during my 24/7 piece I wasn't really worried about the actors.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried about the director because I was too.
Because honestly, I thought. There was a brief moment where I forgot that we were going to be working with somebody we were going to be directed by somebody who didn't write the script, right? And I was like, well, how's he gonna sit right? You have no idea how he's gonna
like literally every little minute detail I can think of for the
But that sucks too because it takes away from the page count.
It does, but like in my head I was like, there's no way he can fuck this up. I gave him every single thing he needs. Like literally, I gave him every single thing he needed.
He didn't change anything.
He the way he changed
it was DJ too. He's in our
DJ.
Basically what all he did change for me was that he made them stand up a lot more than what they normally did. Mm-hmm. When I finally saw it, it worked out for me. I didn't really care because it did flow the way I needed it to.
Yeah, DJ's pretty smart though.
Yeah, he is. I can tell.
He did his directing very well. So like me adding all that stuff about where they were like sitting or standing didn't really bother me. When he told me that he was doing that, I was like, okay, I'm cool with this director. I gave him my number to make sure. Yeah. Like, call me, bro.
I got his number too. Yeah. I got his number too.
I stuck around just to see like who was coming in, and then forgot who.
I went home at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was out of there once.
Bro,
yeah, I was out of there because I knew I wouldn't be able to like sit there and just let someone just like. And he changed the ending of it, which wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't quite. I'll show you guys afterwards. I just looked it up on my phone and I found it. I'll show you guys after. It's just like 3 video clips, but it wasn't bad. But it wasn't. It changed that little change. Changed the entire message.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that stuff right there can irritate me as a creator. Because
as a writer, yeah.
Not
definitely.
even as a writer. Because everything I write, I'm thinking I'm going to make this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. So my hands on
when you write, you think this is how it's going to be.
That's a segue into, all right, that leads into my next question. Do you prefer, if you were going to write a script or you're writing a story but it was going to be filmed, would you prefer to do the triple threat, which is, I mean, not
writing,
really
writing,
direct. Well, writing, direct. Well, yeah, or writing, directing. I was gonna say producing, but that's more for film. Yeah. Or would you be willing to hand over the reins and of directing to somebody else, or would you prefer to do all 3 yourself?
All I would ask,
both of them yourself.
If I was the person not directing it, just let me have some input. Just let me say some things if you're doing something.
I think that's only fair. I mean, I'm not, but I think even as an actor,
if you just really feel like you have to direct this piece, and this is just what you need to do. I'm okay letting you have the reins and do what you want to do with this work, but let me have some input if you're doing something I feel like won't.
Like there's some bases here that you cannot change.
Yeah, like
you need this story. Do whatever you want with the rest.
But like,
honestly, that's pretty fair. That makes sense.
That's the best part about like when you get your play published. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they can't direct it without your shit. Like they can't. Like, I mean, they could secretly if they know everyone who's gonna see it isn't gonna say something. It's like illegal, bro. Like that's the beauty, and I can't wait till I get something.
Yeah, like that's all I ask. Like, if you want to direct it, just at least have me have some input. Just call me, let me see what's going on. Let me say, okay, I like this, but let's do this to see where it goes out. And you can see it and be like, oh, I like that too. Let's have a dialogue about it because this is my work and this is your work too. So let's collaborate and actually make this the best work it can be. That's all I'm asking from people if they want to direct your stuff.
That's all I ask for from a writer and director. I mean, if it's if those two are going to clash, then I know there's going to be like the mood when we actually do rehearse, whether it be film or stage or anything like that. The mood's not going to be good because whatever energy they're projecting onto each other, it's going to transfer over to the actors. It always does.
Yeah,
it always does, and that that can like really mess up.
You can mess up the whole message of a project because you did not communicate with the writer, or the writer didn't communicate with the director about what the product is.
Yeah, all I would ever ask is that if a writer and director are clashing, just you guys got to sell the shit like away from the actors. Like we don't need to see it. Like take care of it or hash it out. Away from right.
It's a set. Come on.
Right. Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question? Did you first meet on Detroit?
I did. I knew who he was. I had classes with him.
We all met each other in Carlos's class. That was the one class we had. We were all together.
I was curious about because I remember seeing both of you there.
I remember. I had saw him at the rehearsal. I didn't actually I knew who he was, but I didn't actually talk to him.
You mean the audition?
Yeah, the auditioning for Detroit 67.
Shit, I didn't see you.
You had my vote for that. The problem is that.
Are you talking about me?
No. Well, you have my vote too, but. You definitely have my vote. The problem is that, that piece sort of like, not to say, it dumbs you down a
Yeah.
little bit. You know what I'm saying? And we couldn't see you going like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're like you were too smart for that shit. Like we could tell, like you were just like way too smart for that shit.
Were you in the lobby that time when I walked in? Is that where you saw me? Because
I think you walked off into like a little corner of like Robinson.
Yeah.
Hall.
Oh. Okay. Okay. I
They
got you.
called Tyler, and I was like, I don't know where he went. He walked away.
Yeah. I do that. I do that. Yeah.
I mean, Tyler's perfect too. It's just that our director was so afraid of height, bro.
He was so afraid of height.
He was afraid of levels too. He was afraid of your levels too.
You know what really bothered the shit out of me though?
What?
When Tyler walked in, I was like, "Fuck, the role's going to him. It's him." Because when you read the role for Slide, it's literally him. It literally describes Tyler. So when I saw Tyler walk in, I was like, "Oh, there we go. The guy."
I understood why X got it. I know he. I completely understood that. Like I said, this was my first semester. Like so I get him getting the part in this. Like he needed. I think he hadn't done a show yet or something like that, right?
I don't know.
To graduate.
Xavier. Yeah.
Xavier?
Yeah.
He was Sly.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to think if
you not been in performance beforehand.
You know what?
Right. Well, right. And I enjoyed the show.
He did transfer from Central Piedmont before, so he hadn't been here all 4 years.
Okay,
that's probably a true statement.
Okay, yeah.
I just didn't feel.
I mean, I transferred too, but this was my first semester, so he's been longer than me.
He wasn't a personal director of mine, and like I didn't have any previous experience with him, so I didn't really like. I was there observing his process and finding out what it was. Of course, I was asking him questions, but I didn't want to dive too much into like making it seem like I was like second guessing his choices. I wasn't like, why didn't you choose that? Why didn't you choose that? Like I had a completely different cast list for me. Okay. But
from when you went through like the whole thing to see everyone that
wanted I was there in the rehearsals. I had I was writing down my own shit. I was trying to find out about the process. So I had my own like list, and it was completely different from his. But I definitely didn't like want to seem like I was questioning him or something because he didn't know me. You know He's not even a professor there, so it's like
he's basically basing off of what he saw. From that one time, You know, and you have experience with seeing them other people do it before, and you're like, all right, I already had.
Well, I think that's a very genuine way of doing it, though. It's completely face value at the audition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then there's no previous bias. It's just whoever they see personally who they think fits the role the best, rather than just being like, oh, well, I know he's done this, and this well. He doesn't quite fit this role, but I know he's a good actor, so I'm going to take him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's what happened.
No, I told Xavier, I told him to his face, I thought he did a great job as Sly. I was happy with the show
when he finally got it. I was like, okay, I'm okay with that. Like
Derek too. I mean, that was a good cast that they did put together. They did. I was thoroughly impressed. But I got the email after a couple people had already auditioned for Xavier. A couple people had already auditioned for the role, and I got the notice that they needed or somebody that did. Or right. He dropped. Yeah, well, the director did too. The director dropped out, and the one who played Sly. So okay.
No,
but so far, I'd say of the shows that I've seen, because I've seen Detroit, I've seen everybody. Maybe those
only two.
Those only two. Okay. The dance the dance recital. I don't think that really counts, but no. I mean it's not a play, but Detroit. So far is the best. I know it's only two, but that's the best one so far. Got to wait to see Pippin, and and we'll see what you guys think about Far Away.
Oh, Far Away is about to be lit, bro.
Well, I'm gonna go 110, 120%.
I think Tyler and I don't know who.
Natalie and Haley.
But I think that you guys would probably, hopefully, bring that script to life. I mean,
because I'm not a
that thing was so bland.
Yeah, no, that's what you think. That's what you think. Like, if you start really breaking it down, like how we were in the beginning of rehearsals, the revelations that we were making, the connections that we were making, and maybe it's just Robin. I kind of think she's a genius. I know.
She's a genius.
I know. I kind of think she's a genius. It's amazing.
You have to
layers.
When you're interpreting a script, you have to. It is all about subtext. You have to read between the lines on for just about every single scene, and the scenes are so short, so we have to. And I kept saying this during rehearsal. We have to a lot of things we have to drag out because if we just go through this play at a certain pace, we'll be done in 25, 30 minutes. That's just the truth. If you not including the prisoner scene, which I mean I'm not gonna spoil anything, but that takes about 10 to 15. But like I said, if we were just going at a certain pace and we didn't slow anything down, you guys would be out there in 30 minutes. You know, so
it's like
it's a real short play.
Wow. With Churchill, I know she's a very powerful sort of like feminist voice, but it's like a different degree of writer. Like she is really a master writer. Whereas like if you don't take the time to dissect it, it's gonna go over.
I'll give that. I'll give her that.
It's
I'll
like
give
the
her that.
connections that she's, and it ties also back to what you were saying. Like you feel like your ADD, it might be might
ADHD.
cause you your ADHD inhibiting you from writing, bro. That shit is a plus. That's a bonus.
Well, it's a plus for. I mean, it's a plus for acting, I think.
No, for
but
writing,
I don't know about.
You're thinking about scenes before ahead of what you're writing, like the scene that you're currently on.
It's just kind of hard to center on. It's kind of hard to
focus.
To focus on. Well, not just focus, but focus on a narrative, like a sharp, controlled narrative. Because my mind can venture off to something else. Like I want to add this into
the main characters. You have a problem with focusing on the main
character. Is it main characters? Maybe. Well. Maybe I don't think so. I don't think so. But like, how do you write a main character? Like, how do you
write a main character? Okay, so like, if you're writing for a main character and you want that main character to be known, then you're going to express more of their emotions first, more than anyone else's. If you're probably someone that doesn't focus completely on the main character, you normally think about everything a side character, what's their backstory, what they're doing.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I don't start off with the main character, but go on, that might be
like it. I mean, like building a world and building characters like a full thing is okay. Great thing to do to begin when you're starting your writing, right?
Yeah.
To build your world,
build your
characters, right? But I think when you start writing, you do have to have a central focus of where you want that story to go.
Yeah.
You don't want to go drifting off and tell this boring plot line that doesn't need any information on.
Right.
About like, oh god, this guy tripped on a log. Now we got to dive into his whole backstory about his family life. Like, nobody needs to know about that.
Yeah.
We're here for the main guy's story. Focus on this and go through his overarching story.
And plus, I really don't know what genre I lean more towards. I mean, I know as far as films, I know what my favorite genre is. That's obviously action and dramas. A little bit sci-fi, but that's what I lean to most. Yeah, with writing, I don't know. I guess I just haven't spent that much time with it, but I mean. Like Aidan,
I love mystery films. That's just me.
Mystery?
Like thriller mystery.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Like
action thriller.
Action
thriller is my
with
thing.
Me, man?
Yeah.
We can write a mystery for real.
Okay.
A whole
mystery comedy.
A mystery
comedy. Yeah, but
Scooby-Doo, bro.
Hold up, no, like a mystery. Like they got to figure out who killed who.
Yeah,
it's called a whodunit.
Yeah,
whodunit. Yeah, like
Mystic
River. Did you ever see that?
I think I did.
Mystic River. Okay, but
just not thinking of it.
Yeah. Now look. Now I'll say this. I am partial. I am very impartial to the really good to great comic book films because I'm a comic book guy. I love that. But as far as just I'm always down for a good like action thriller film. Always. You know.
Yeah. For me, going to the point about the main characters. For me, the way I do it is because like I do like a structured form, not necessarily in the way of like I have to have this done before I can do this before this, but it's like I like to have at least a basis, like a good 60-70% of something. So like what I do is once I have the world view, regardless if it's completely final or not, it's not like I try to think of how I can fit the characters into the world and have their voice and view come out in the way things play out rather than being like, so I want to base it around a character and then however he does things, make the world build around him, which I definitely want to do at some point, but I'm saying currently that's not how I'm doing it. But I mean, both of them are very valid, interesting ways to do it.
What about a fish out of water story? Like taking a character from a certain time and a certain place and dropping them into like a foreign world.
So I
that's that's sort of what I was gonna say as far as like main characters. It sort of involves both of those aspects, like creating your world and following a character. It doesn't like mean that the world has to sort of develop around this character.
Right.
It can be a world. The purpose of the main character, I feel like, is just like acting. it's reaction. The main character, we follow his story and we're just seeing how he reacts to this world, how he reacts to the events that happen to him, and how it changes him or her. And through that, hopefully, maybe you can have some sort of audience emotional connection, hopefully drawn to that character, which makes them fall in love with your film. But there's, like I said, this whole creative process, man, there's no
right
like
or wrong way.
Yes, there's no Bible to this shit. It's like if you're a writer, then it's in you, bro. And however it comes out, it's gonna fucking come out. Like you can't, if it's you can't help but get it out. It's gonna come out, bro. And if it's something that you have to work on, you can still be great at that shit.
Yeah.
And as far as your ADD, bro, sometimes I'll throw on that 70s show in the background when I'm watching comedies, bro, all day. Not like I'm basing it off of it.
No, it's just that their jokes and the way they set up their things helps you build.
Yeah,
because it gets you in that mindset.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, that's funny. Oh, I can think of a joke that goes with this.
Yeah.
I feel like it definitely ties into like humans and their friendships with other people. Now, I'm not saying I'm a follower at all, but it's like I definitely act different when I'm around other people. Like I always try to stay true to myself, no matter where I'm at. But it's like different versions of myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have different
aspects of
levels
it.
you act with certain people.
Yeah, like for like here when I talk to you guys, like just a lot of the time we spend together is doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Granted, that's not the only thing we do. But for a lot of time, you know, it's very serious, like deep thought conversation, this kind of stuff. When I'm with someone like, I don't know, like my brother or Pablo or my dad or someone, we joke around all the time. I'm super energetic and out there. And that's like the only time I'm super energetic other than when I'm on the rugby field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's just when I'm around other people, I just automatically think a certain way and automatically kind of like act a little bit different. Granted, I just try to be true to myself, but I feel like that's the same kind of way with writing, where it's, or like just anything.
Yeah,
because
you're basically acting different for a different kind
because
of
when
scene.
you're around something and you're seeing it, your mind is subconsciously trying to follow that path, and then it's like, okay, well, you're already kind of thinking in that way.
You know what I think that ties back to, honestly, man? Caveman survival.
Instinct.
Like back in the day, survival.
Yeah.
You run into a new tribe. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna act like the fucking dude, like where the fuck you from. You're gonna try to fit in so that you can live within that society.
Yeah.
Like,
So have you ever tried like going back to what Aidan said, or kind of linking to what he said, like writing in different locations? Like maybe you might be one day you might be in your room, but then the next day you might be on a balcony somewhere, or next day you might be, you know, like things like that.
Oh yeah, my dream, man, honestly, is to like have like, you see those pimped out cargo vans that they have like on YouTube with like the beds and shit in there. My dream is like to have like a home base, of course, but when I'm getting into my mission or I'm getting into my flow, hit the fucking road in my van, bro, and just like,
y'all ever
go
see
on a
like
road trip? All
right, okay.
Y'all ever see them like the people we living on like the road trip, man? They hate doing it, bro. I could live in one. I could, bro. It's a bed in there. It's got my stuff, my kitchen in there. What's the issue? What am I missing?
That is kind of nice,
bro. I don't understand like what
slow maintenance. You know, you don't have to really.
You got your home base.
You got your home base.
You can get missing for 5 days. Come back, shower.
Bro, I'm getting right back on the road, calling the day. Oh shit, got my own bed in there. I can go chill wherever I want.
That's an idea. That's an idea.
Get all the holes in there. No.
You ain't gonna be able to get no writing done.
Hold on. Pull up in the fucking van. What's up, ladies?
Show you what this trunk do.
Okay, so next question I want to ask, and again, everybody chime in for you guys. There's a guy who lives out here in Charlotte. He's since I've known him, he's already created. He's a writer, you know, filmmaker, and he's already created a web series called Dusk. It's a vampire series, right? Got a couple
like based off of like the fucking Twilight series.
No, I don't think it's based off Twilight. But anyway, his name.
I hope it isn't.
I just know, look, it's about vampires though. It's about vampires and
like Blade vampires, like some cool ones.
I mean, I've seen the show. I've seen a couple episodes. I'll recommend it to you. It's actually pretty good. But his name's Ron Rossman. You remember Megan? I showed you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She was in season 1. She was the lead character actually in season 1. But he told me that what he likes to do when it comes to how he writes characters is he likes to use people from his personal life, whether it be family members or friends, and use them as sort of allegories not all his characters, but some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he said when he writes his female characters, he pulls from the women in his life and attach certain personality traits from them to for his female characters, right? And I was just wondering, since look, we're all men. Is it safe to say that it's easier to write for? Is easier to write a male character as opposed to a female character, and just
I think yes and
no. Okay.
In the same way.
Okay.
I think it's like it would probably be easier to write different aspects of them, like to be able to have a personality of a dude because we are dudes and we have our own thought process that's generally the same throughout men.
What I
Not
can
everything's
say,
the same.
yeah.
But
no, of course.
But in terms of us writing characters for women, I think it's easier for us to write like kind of like a stat sheet in Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing, because we already have a basis of if we were to follow like the thing of the women in our life, like mom, sisters, current or ex-girlfriend, wife, maybe, who knows what your relationship may be, and because we have a way that we view them, and so we can have a way that we can make this kind of character. But instead of having like the actual outward process of like their dialogue and how they interact with people, would probably be a lot easier for guys. Because we just, we are your guys,
right?
You know what I mean?
I think when I'm writing for like a female character, I feel kind of bad because I feel like maybe I'm doing them too wrong. Like maybe I'm doing the character what I think a woman probably acts like, and I'm probably completely wrong. And I know women are more complicated than I can physically ever or mentally ever understand. But
well, you're young.
Yeah,
you're young.
I mean, but I'm figuring it's probably 40-year-old men that still understand their wife or girlfriend of the time.
It's because they weren't taught anything.
Out there.
Yeah, there are
plenty of Sims.
Yeah, there are.
So, but like when like writing a character, a female character, and having her interact with another female character or a male character, I feel like maybe it's a line. It's easier for me to help her talk to a male character than a female character because I don't know how two females really talk. I'm not a female. I don't go. I'm not seeing where girls talk to each other like constantly to each other. So I don't really know how y'all talk to each other. So when
you spend you don't spend a lot of time in hair salons as a kid.
No. So I never.
Okay.
I said a lot barbershops.
Well, I know. Well, I was saying, my mom, when I was little and she couldn't drop me off, she'd take me to the hair salon with her, and I can't say I was. I mean, thank God there was a TV there, so I could just watch TV while she was getting her hair done. But I mean, you're in there for an hour or two. Sometimes 3 hours, and it's just you're surrounded by women, right? And
I think it's kind of different too. Like if you're a guy, you might have grown up around like a bunch of women, kind of. I mean, I think that kind of does tie into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I will just say I think it's dangerous. I don't think that now I'm not against it. I try to write for women all the time. I think it's creative. I think it's challenging.
It puts a little challenge to you, right?
We should all be about challenge. But if I could draw this correlation, it would be like me trying to write about a Jewish story. You know what I'm saying?
Like you're not Jewish, so like you don't know how they do it.
Trying to write the tale of a black guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a different space. It's not
it's challenging.
Doesn't mean it's not fun.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
possible.
Yeah, it's definitely not. No, absolutely
in
not.
In one of my writings, I gotta write something about like a whole female main character. I gotta write something like that eventually. It's in my bank that is something I know I gotta write one day.
And it's great because it'll help you grow. Like as a writer. But I just think like it can also be dangerous.
Plus, I love the challenge to hear people or I love the criticism of other people telling me like you could have done this different, or this is not like what I would think like a female would do in that situation. Don't be afraid of
criticism, man.
No, absolutely
you
not.
have to get over.
Yeah, that's like the major thing.
If you're gonna deal in this play world, that's all they
That's true.
Right.
That's all they do.
That's with writing. That's with acting. That's with directing. Yeah. Period. Yes.
Well, whatever you
critique.
do.
That's true.
That's just sinful human nature.
That's right.
It's to find impurities and your superiorities to other people. That's just how we are as humans.
Yeah. So I mean, me personally, I really don't. I mean, I don't lose my shit when people do take that challenge of writing, of creating a character or writing a story where the main character isn't an extension of themselves, whether it's somebody of a different gender or a different race. Well, first, I have to read it.
It's not easier.
I know it's not. But the only thing is, I have to read the shit first before I make any sort of judgment on it. I can't. I don't just make a snap judgment at somebody doing that at face value, or at least let me read the shit and see how I feel about it before I say, okay, well, it's okay, but
like
that was
so
kinda,
like if a white guy came up to you and was like, hey, I'm gonna show you this piece about a black man I'm going to write about.
Right.
And you read it and you're like, okay, I get where you're coming from. Maybe you could do this a little different,
Right.
Maybe
but I'll use two different examples. Number one, T'Challa, Black Panther, one of my favorite comic book characters, wasn't created by black guys, created by two Jewish guys, right? Daredevil, Matt Murdock, he's a blind man, but he was written by a guy that can see. Still complex, not only that, but but he's Catholic
complex,
too. Right, Stan Lee, he's a Jewish man, but he creates a blind man, a lawyer who's also Catholic, right? And he's one of the most complex characters. He's got some of the best stories that I've ever read. Okay, Born Again is probably my second or third favorite comic book story. So it's not all about writing. Isn't all about 100% relativity, right? So I do applaud you guys and all the writers out there who do take on those challenges. And like I said, you don't know how you're going to feel about a piece until after you read it. I'm not one of those type of people that take something at face value and draw my conclusions on it, without actually reading it. Sometimes I got to read something twice. Sometimes I got to read something twice.
I feel like the whole writing thing, it's like being a king, man. It's like being like King Arthur. Like, you got to have the right circle around you. It's okay to write a chick piece. Also, it might be a good idea to make sure you get the influence of maybe females in your life as you're writing that piece, or bouncing ideas off of them as you're writing that piece. For instance, like you were making correlations between movies. That new movie, Queen and Slim.
It came
Still
out.
Haven't seen it.
Last. I heard about it.
September.
I
haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either. I had.
But Daniel Kaluuya was in that.
I had early screenings for it, but I couldn't. That was that date that went bad. But it's like that was written by a white man, right?
Yeah.
But in his heart, he knew that he couldn't tell that story because it's sort of like a dark story about police brutality and shit like that. So in his heart, he knew that he couldn't tell that story. So he ran it by Lena Waithe or whatever, and he let her read it, and he let her make edits and changes on it, and it sort of became her own piece. I don't think he still gets credit for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's a bad thing.
No.
I just feel like we have to be like, we have to take into account how the audience of that specific, either gender or race or religion would feel about it. Like, I feel like you have to have that in your circle. Like, if you're writing this African dance piece and you've never took a trip to Africa or spoke with any dancers, I feel like that's messed up.
Okay, that's true.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
you should definitely run it by the people that are going to be the ones that present.
It doesn't hurt. Now, I agree with you on the point that it doesn't hurt to have a consultant, and in some ways, and in a lot of cases, depending on what you're writing, that's needed.
I don't think I think it's always consultant. I think it's always.
But at the end of the day, it's still
make sure you know what you're talking about.
But at the end of the day, it's still yours. Right. It's still your piece. You're still writing it. It's still your vision. Yes, absolutely. I get that. But just don't ever lose sight of that. You don't want to write something 100% exactly the way someone else says it should be written.
Yeah, no.
Not entirely.
No.
But it
we
does.
Just want to make sure that we are making sure that you're giving material that is
true.
Appropriate, and make sure that you actually aren't just giving misinformation. That
right? Yeah, I get that.
Your story.
Yeah,
right.
It's not the story that you're doing.
Like that Daredevil thing. Like, we don't know how any blind dudes felt about it. Like,
you could buy a Daredevil comic in Braille.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, that was the thing. Yeah. If they're...
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about them rubbing on the page.
They make comics.
Wow, this story is interesting.
I don't know. Yes, they make comics in comics in Braille.
How do they do the illustrations? Do they?
I think it's just the words. I think it's just the words.
It's just the words.
I don't know.
I think it just becomes a novel.
Yeah, they probably don't give a fuck about illustrations.
No. You don't. No, you probably just put the little dots on there so they can just rub it, and then they're like, okay, this is the words for the next one. It probably has more detail than the actual comic. It probably has
it probably becomes a novel at that point.
It'd probably be like he kicked the person across the thing, and it explains every single step to it. Like, you know what? I did have a conversation with my dad about this. Like, blind, like the hotels. Total tangent about blind people for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
Hotels. the elevators. You know the little like sign to tell you where you're on, where you're at, like your level. You have to touch outside the elevator. Yep. So like I'm imagining like I want to see some blind person. Yeah, it's either like, oh, we're on level 2. Okay, you gotta get back in the elevator.
That's a good sketch.
It came on my mind because I was in an elevator going to like a hotel, and I was like, wow, blind people really got to struggle out here for like
that's
elevators. That's rough.
Let's make it happen.
Right. Dangling his arm out there every floor.
It's like, nope, wrong one. God damn it.
That's why Matt Murdock is so dope, though. He's blind, but he whoops ass, though, man.
He's like the buttons on the elevator.
No, exactly. Right. Then he starts feeling around like, where the fuck are the kids?
Right.
He gets like his little stick
pushing all the buttons.
Right, dude. Right. He gets I mean, when he puts that suit on, man, and at night and he goes to work, you know, he ain't like he's no longer just that blind dude walking around with a cane, like don't
blind dude fuck you up.
I know, right. He's borderline. He's a borderline metahuman, essentially, you know, and that's genius. But
yeah, I like that. That was definitely something I thought of.
Yeah, read it. Yeah, for those of you listening, read a Daredevil comic. Read a Daredevil comic.
That's just like that's a one camera, one mic thing. It's a one camera, one mic thing.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty funny to bring that up because I always thought about it and just thought like no one ever like I've never seen a blind person getting an elevator. Yeah. So like, what's the whole process of you getting on that elevator, bro? Because you're on the 7th floor. It's gonna take you a minute to get to that 7th floor.
Yeah, that shit is hilarious.
Yes. Because it's gonna take you a minute to get to that hall to figure out where the elevator is.
You gotta have someone in there fucking with it. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking with. Have like a little kid just
click the button. Scoot out on the next floor.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's like, I know you're in here.
I know you're in here. Yeah. Where are you? I think that'd be a really funny thing to bring up.
That's hilarious. Mm-hmm. You gotta do it on a tall building.
A tall building. Yeah. But
talking about, you know, people sort of pigeonholing their characters into like certain like I know you're an anime fan.
I am. I grew up with it. I don't know if I'm as deep. As deep as he is, but look. Toonami was huge for me. Toonami basically opened my world to anime.
I think it opened up everyone our age.
Yeah. You're right. When I saw DBZ for the first time, I was fucking hooked. But not just that. You had like let's just go down. I'll just go down the quick list. You had Sailor Moon. You had DBZ, Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack was the shit.
Zords, fucking
One Piece, bro.
One Piece. That was after.
Later.
That was later. Yeah. But Tenchi
came a little later too. It's about around
8. Yeah.
2.
I have not found any.
I want to say 2000.
Cowboy. I got the poster. I got the poster in my door. Yeah, that dude. I love that shit. Nobody. I haven't met any Tenchi Muyo fans on campus. Like, I'm the only person that remembers that show.
1997, Naruto.
Really?
97?
97.
Yu Yu Hakusho?
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. Shit. Yeah.
Wackest power ever. Still somehow they
Bleach. You remember Bleach? No, that's fire. You watch. You remember Zoids? You remember Zoids?
No,
I don't know.
No.
Okay, it was kind of like Transformers on. Well, no, not really, but not really.
Like what about Roids?
Roids.
That might be a personal.
Are you projecting again?
No.
Might be.
Next week, Swole is happening.
You can't forget Pokemon.
Of course.
Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a shit. Okay. Yeah.
Don't forget Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh was a fucking bop, bro.
I love that one meme where it's like Jimmy Neutron's dad's like, "You're about to get crossed into the Shadow Realm, Jimbo," or something like that.
And probably not my all time favorite, definitely top 5 for me. Gundam. I was big on Gundam.
I know about Gundam.
Gundam was the shit.
What are you into now?
What am I into right now? I can say
as far as this year, I haven't been watching that much anime.
I've not watched that much anime either.
I got some though.
I'm trying to think. It was Death Note. I was trying to get into Death Note.
Death Note is good.
I have not caught up to it though, because I'm still watching it like slowly. But I was watching Death Note. I
just started on My Hero Academia.
Yeah,
I heard about that
on season 1. So I'm only like 2 episodes in though, but first episode was pretty. It was pretty good. You know, I think I just got to jump back on it.
I like OP power shows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel
One
you.
Punch Man is
you.
a fucking bob.
Yeah.
I get on that eventually.
If I want to tell someone to watch anime, I'd say watch One Punch Man.
The only thing I don't like about One Punch Man is that he starts strong and he stays strong.
He does
like
never
to
get.
see- I like to see a weakling.
Right.
No,
I get it. I get you.
I just love how they make it. They spin it in a way that he's so strong.
Yeah.
He hates
And
his
it's
life.
nothing. It's
Yeah.
nothing.
Like he's like, God damn it! Why does everyone keep on dying
Right.
every time?
But it's since like you said, you don't have a lot of time to watch like movies, or you haven't had a lot of time to watch movies.
I have the time.
You have the time, just don't.
I'm just peculiar and I'm careful about it.
Okay.
Like
Are you
said,
reading a lot? Are you reading a lot more?
It could influence your art. No, I'm writing.
Just writing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could influence your art, and plus, at the same time, honestly, bro, there's a lot of trash movies out here.
Yeah, no, of course. And with that note, I think we'll wrap that up. That was I know. Well, you guys know what I had to do, but yes, I think we'll wrap it up on that. This was a really great discussion. Yeah, and I think we did it in pretty decent time as well. Definitely want to thank Joel Vincent.
Appreciate you, dude.
Absolutely. Yeah, round of applause for
episode.
Mr. Joel.
Invite me back sometime.
We enjoy you.
We
bro.
will definitely keep you in mind, and also, this is around the time since we are wrapping it up. We'll get into the plugs in a minute. Wait, that didn't sound right. I'm sorry.
Phrasing.
We'll get into plugs. Before we go, obviously, tomorrow is Super Bowl Sunday.
Hey.
I still don't have a plan for what I'm gonna do. There's probably gonna be some people watching the game in the lounge. That's probably what I'm gonna do.
We should do picks real fast. Who you got?
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Kansas City. Go ahead. You can say it.
I don't know.
I know you.
And you watched a lot more football than I have this year.
The thing is, I think Kansas City's gonna win, but I want the 49ers to win just because I'm
spit on the Patriots' face.
No, just because I'm a huge Bosa fan.
Okay.
Because we played the same position, and I just love the way that he plays the game.
Yeah, he's a beast.
And I just want to see them just completely destroy the Chiefs on defense and just have Bosa just go off.
Niners got the better defense, though. I will say that. I'll give him that.
I think it's gonna be Kansas City, but as long as Bosa eats, I'm happy.
Okay.
Niners got the better defense, but really the only thing Kansas City has to do is stop one thing: the run. You can stop the run, you're probably gonna win. It's not.
Yeah, if they can keep Raheem Mostert under 100 yards, they're winning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because Garoppolo, he's kind of just like a game manager to me.
Yeah, Patty will throw 40 on the board.
He will.
He'll throw that 40 up there.
I hope he does that. I hope he breaks Tom Brady's record. I think last Super Bowl against the Eagles, Tom Brady threw for 490. I think, yeah. And Mahomes can. I want Mahomes to go off. I don't want this to be a low scoring game. It shouldn't be. This should be a high scoring game in my opinion.
Yeah, I believe so.
So more than likely, that's what I'm gonna do. As far as, and y'all know I have to do it, opening night for Far Away is 12 days away as of now. February 13th is opening night. Of course, yours truly, John Legion, is playing Todd. And definitely for those of you that are listening and for those of you that are subscribed, let your friends know about the show, and whether they're students or not, come out and support your boy. Like I say, tickets are going to be really hard to come by because the Black Box Theater, I don't know how many seats we're going to get. What is that? 60 at the most? At the most.
A night, though. You know what I'm saying?
A night, but it's 3 nights.
It usually clears up mid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but so many, but we're all theater students, so we all get one free ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And now obviously some people are using it on different days, but that just kind of makes it hard because I do have family and friends who I've told about the show and who do want to come see it. And I was just telling them I wanted to let them know when tickets went on sale. So there is that. Come support Far Away. But if you're a theater student, you want to support all the shows. Even if you have to, look, we're all artists, and we all support each other. And not only that, but our boy Aidan's in rugby. He's playing rugby, and I know you got an announcement you want to make.
It's actually my first practice tournament is on the 15th, which I believe is the Saturday during Far Away's running, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so that Saturday I have a practice tournament at Wake Forest. It'll be an all-day event. I'm guaranteed to play 3 games. So go ahead, watch Far Away on any day but Saturday so you can come watch me, so you can get both. So
that's a plan. And this week coming up is tech, right? And this is all tech week. Okay, so that's gonna be a grind, no doubt. I definitely got to get my sleep in.
Yeah, that Q is gonna hurt.
I know. Well, that's all. I'm gonna be well rested up for that shit, no doubt, man. Because I'm gonna be there for a while. Might as well order pizza or some shit. Because we're gonna be there for a long time.
What, for tech?
Yeah, well,
Tech.
that and Q to Q day, because I'll have to be there. Even though not really a spoiler, but I mean, the first couple minutes of the show, I'm not in, but still, they're gonna want me there. So
yeah.
So yeah, there's that. Okay, so any other announcements? None.
Nope.
Okay. Well, with that said, we thank all of y'all for joining us, watching episode 7 of the QCP Queen City Psychos podcast. And again, we all thanks to thanks to Joel for joining us. We more than likely we're gonna, because this turned out so well. I mean, I think it'll be a real good episode once Aidan gets done with editing. We're probably gonna do this again. I don't know if for certain if we'll have you on again immediately, because we do have other people that we're considering on bringing on, but definitely keeping
push me way out there, bro.
Okay. So
comments, whatever they say.
Yeah, are we
y'all decide his fate.
Oh, Jesse, take us out with what our viewers need to do.
All right, you need to like, comment, and subscribe.
Absolutely, and the notification bell. If you want to get at some point, we'll get the community tab open. I'm still working on that. I'm still working on getting the information from.
And we will try to expand to Spotify in the near future.
Yes, absolutely, yes, and definitely get the word out, because at first couple episodes we kept we all made the decision. We all made the agreement that we were going to keep the podcast under wraps. But at this point, when you start
7
having
episodes deep, bro.
Yeah,
a whole week episodes worth.
True.
In this, we need to start expanding to tell these people.
And now we also need to start doing other stuff like streaming, and also just like regardless if it's about a podcast, just have like us get together and like, oh, just stream a video game or whatever. Just have the guys do something.
We are all on Discord, so that is a possibility.
We need to jump on Mortal Kombat, guys.
Oh yeah, dude. Okay,
Yeah,
you have a gaming channel.
You
have all right. You have a gaming channel. All right, what happens? Absolutely. Oh, maybe even do a tournament someday. Tournament, Injustice 2 tournament.
I'm down with it.
All right, cool. No, yeah.
Joel, if you want to hop in on that.
Absolutely.
I have no idea,
hey,
bro.
we're all gamers though. I'm really like, am I the only one that didn't bring their system with them?
Yes.
I didn't bring my system.
You didn't?
No.
Oh.
You too.
Well, I mean, look, but I got a PS2 and an Xbox 360, so I'm lagging. I don't know. I might get the new gen. I might get the next gen. I might not.
He got the
Patreons.
My PS2 is still banging. Yeah.
Let's get that up for
my PS2 is still banging. I still play NBA Street and shit. All right, I'm cool with it. But but on that note, again, for those of you that have seen enough of our episodes, and for those of you that are tuning in for the first time, we do leave me, Aidan, and Jesse's or J May's. We do leave our Instagrams in the comment section. So if
Joel, do you have any social media?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
To be honest with you guys, I would tell you to look for my future social media. I don't really do the whole online thing right now, sort of like prehistoric caveman. I do have it. If you find me on there, feel free to add me or whatever. It might be 6 months before you get whatever back. But in the future, I plan on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. All of that will either be Vincent the Creator or Joel the Chosen One. So just look out for that in the future.
Okay. No Snapchat for me. I was telling the guys, I just do Facebook, Instagram, and keep it moving.
Yeah.
But again, it's completely up to them. If you guys want to contact us about anything, you have our information on those various platforms. And with that said, closing out, this is Sir John Legion, and along with my other 3 comrades,
E-Man,
Aidan,
J
May, and also
Joel.
Our special guest. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. We are the QCP Queen City Psychos.
QCP.
Number 1. And we are out.